underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond. Final Beyonding of 2009.
2009.
Whoa, that's Jurassic Park quality.
Welcome to the Final Beyond.
Welcome to episode 119 of Podcast Beyond, everybody.
Yo.
Again, the final one of 2009. I am Chris Roper. Greg Miller, what's going on?
I got bad news, Chris Roper.
What's that?
I am firing on every single cylinder today.
Oh, no.
You are in for a ride. I'm going to take you places, man. It's going to be like the magic school bus just ran into a freaking floating nun. Oh, my God.
I love how as you were saying that, Roper's hand was on your volume. I'm like, just slowly lowering it.
Down. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Hey, not much, dude. How are you doing today?
I am well, and Sam?
Great. Awesome.
There it is.
Wonderful.
I suppose everybody's happy because
No yelling
Avatar
on the
comes
bus.
out tomorrow.
Yes, I certainly am.
There it is.
I'm not.
You're not going to go see Avatar?
I'm going to see it, but I'm not, like, excited.
Oh,
Super
Ryan,
ready
do you
for
care
it.
about Avatar?
Yeah, actually I am, and I'm going to see it with my buddies back on the East Coast.
Yes, there it is. Let's get the show off proper with the Rope Report.
Time for some shoes.
Shoes, I like it. Despite the fact that it's the end of the year, usually there's not a lot of news. There are actually some pretty cool stuff this week. Mega Man 10.
Yes.
Coming in March 2010. Colin
All
Moriarty,
right.
who was going to be on the show, but then went to lunch like a fool.
Idiots.
He's very happy about this. It's just like Mega Man 9.
He wrote an editorial on it, which you can find at IGN.com.
He did.
Oh.
Speaking of other releases coming to the PlayStation Network and such, Ryan,
Yeah.
how do you feel about Final Fantasy VIII finally coming to the U.S.?
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
How many weeks ago or months ago did that come out in Japan?
A while.
Man,
It was
it's been a while.
It's been a couple months. Yeah.
Let's see. Digital comics, now available.
Yay! I can't. No, that's right. There's not. I'm not excited about this.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of comics that are outdated.
Yeah.
Old comics.
In news that may not-
Expensive comes. $1.99.
Yeah.
Come on!
That's how much they are normally, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, in and around depending on what you're getting. But yes, there's no discount there, and they're
Right.
old.
That sucks.
Damn it! They're all Spider-Man the Other. That was a terrible story.
I got out of comics like back in the mid to late 90s when they were all like 250 and
Yeah.
and they had the gatefold posters and all these stupid special editions. Hi.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. Well, it says it right there. So
Yeah. I was pointing.
Clements is holding up an issue of Maximum with
EGM. It's the EGM.
It's EGM. Yeah.
What?
The replacement.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. The new
news-
EGM with Olivia Munn on the cover.
Yeah, news that people may not care about, but I don't know. It may not actually change anything at all. Is EA is no longer publishing Rage; it's now ZeniMax,
Yay.
aka the Bethesda software parent
What
company.
the hell's Rage?
So
It's Software's new game.
there were a bunch of announcements this week at the Spike VGA Awards. There's a Batman sequel coming,
Yeah.
which there's no date on it. Even if you look at the press releases, there's nothing about 2010 or whatever. So
I think
I'm
it'll be 2011.
That's what I'm thinking. But that's being made. Big surprise. Force Unleashed 2, another big surprise, being that that's LucasArts' best-selling game ever.
Is it really the best-selling game ever?
Wow.
I didn't know that. I didn't think there'd be another one. That ended pretty conclusively on both endings.
Oh, it
didn't
totally
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Which is going to
And
be
now he's in
interesting
it,
to
so
see
it's
how
like,
they.
yeah.
try to-
Also, most of the team was let go, so it'll be very interesting to see how this one turns out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first one wasn't like a grand slam or anything. People liked it, but
That's the
it
thing,
had a
though.
lot of
But
problems.
look,
I'm a huge fan.
at Assassin's Creed 1 versus 2, though.
Yeah.
1 was flawed, and then 2 was great, and now maybe the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas have been laid down. How they polishing. Get a
tracks,
little
the
diamond
groundwork
cutter in
is
there. Cut off the edges, turn it into a nice little stone, put on a ring, bam. 9.5. Green Day Rock Band was announced. That's kind of stupid. I
Son
think.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of a waste.
Where's Weezer Rock Band? That's what I need.
I don't want band Rock Band unless it's Led Zeppelin Rock Band. I don't care at this point anymore.
Okay.
Let's see. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. That game, that's not a giant surprise given that there's another movie coming out.
It's exciting or weird that they didn't go with the one they already started or whatever.
Sure.
They had like a whole reboot and everything. And
Yeah, exactly. But it's not that. It's yeah.
looks like it's going back, actually.
Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Yay,
Now,
demo
back
today.
at TGS. You just spoiled it. But yeah, anyway, back at TGS, the Japanese demo came out, and then we had it on the site. You could download it and play it, but it was all in Japanese, so some people had a hard time figuring it out. As of today, on the PlayStation Network, at whenever that update happens at midnight, whatever it is.
2 p.m. usually.
Sure. Anyway, the Peace Walker demo will be playable by all in English.
English with
Yeah.
David Hayter.
Yep.
It's good.
Snake.
I played through it last night and
Did
this
you?
morning. Yeah.
I
Got one new mission. If you read my preview, it's got one new mission that I only briefly talked about there. You couldn't play it on the Japanese demo.
Okay.
They've added a mission.
Yeah,
That
So
you
even
can
if you
still-
play the Japanese one, it's still
There's
worth
no reason not to download this. It's
Exactly.
in English. It's free. You get to play it with your friends if they have it too.
If you have not seen the Japanese, like if you didn't download a Japanese demo, you just have to see how good this game is.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of
crazy good.
Yeah. Then the last piece of news that I'll mention today is apparently today, unless something happens, is the water thing for Little Big Planet is out.
I'm so
Finally,
excited. 11 new trophies.
Yeah, so so it comes with new trophies, and basically it's a tie-in with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean, however you want to say that. And so there is it's basically a kit for $5.99 that lets you put water in there, and it's got all this other stuff.
New levels.
Right, new levels.
It's like Metal Gear, but now it's Pirates of the Caribbean, and it also adds this water thing.
And then if you want to pay another $5.99, you can get a pack of costumes from Pirates.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I won't be doing that, but I'll be getting the levels.
But the water is awesome.
Yeah, the
that's
water
going
is
to
really
completely
cool.
change all the levels and stuff. That will get me back into
The
it.
trophies are cool. That's what I want.
There it is.
I love some trophies. Oh, speaking of,
Here we go.
Finished up Assassin's Creed 2
platinum it yet?
yesterday. What's that?
You platinum?
No, not yet.
I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing right now.
It's a
I'm
whole
on
100
one.
feathers thing. That'll take me a while. I have to use a guide for it.
I'm on one playthrough, and I'm doing it all right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you can go back. I mean, it never ends.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which is awesome.
I'm
But
gonna.
that-
I don't pick up the feathers now because I'm waiting to go back and get them with the map.
there you go. Okay, good call. Yeah. But it did get me to 14 finally.
Oh, nice.
So I have
congratulations.
15,007. Thank you. I never thought I'd get there, and now I will never get to 15. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody sent us the list of how many points you need to get through certain
They're
levels.
all after you get 12 was the giant one, I thought, wasn't it? Or
12
am
and
I
13 or
misreading?
whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was like 2,000
Then it's like
points.
8,000. I wish it was
2,000
8,000.
points before then or something, or maybe 4,000, and then it jumps to 8. Or I think it went from 2,000 to 8,000, which is where that huge difference came. They didn't it was 2,000 per level basically forever, and then all of a sudden it goes to 8. They don't slowly ramp it up or whatever, which I think is stupid. But now it's 8 forever.
Word.
Ramp up. Ramp up sounds like the next club hit for 2010.
That's what I'm talking about, G-Unit.
Ramp up.
Now, Greg, if
Ramp
Sam
up.
here,
Ramp
he just
up.
got to level 14 trophies. Now, he has gotten a lot of trophies in a lot of games already, so he can't really get any more trophies from those.
Exactly.
But if you wanted to
Chris
find out...
Roper, save your breath. Nothing came out in stores this week. That's the official list, everybody. Merry effing Christmas.
Nothing. Wow.
However, we
Yes.
are getting stuff on the store. Hey, Ryan, tell us all about that.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
That's
Your
it,
Maxim
dude.
is
Stop looking
covering
at
I
up.
know.
boobs.
You are so into girls that you can't just not even look at a Max.
I was just had the magazine open. It was
You've had it
covering
the
my
entire
sheet.
show.
Whatever.
Okay? And you've been
Whatever.
holding it up like we're a video podcast, like anyone else.
I
You're
was
not
showing
involved in the
it to
conversation.
Sam.
We're
I
not
was
involved in the
showing it to Sam.
Roper's
'Cause
talking
you
about
guys are
Final
having
Fantasy.
your-
He talked about Final Fantasy. Nothing from you.
Yeah, what are you
Dead
talking
silence.
about? He was like, "Are you excited?" And I was like, "Yes, very excited. It's about time. How many months has it been out, Sam?" And he was like, "I love Maxim." That's how the conversation went. Here's your
Man.
list for the PSN. If I'm even still welcome in
You're
this
not.
podcast.
Wow. I'm out.
No, I'm not out. This thing would fall apart without me.
Do something all right.
Why are you being mean to me?
I don't know. I'm on all cylinders. I already told you. Like if we were a cartoon, I'd have rainbow eyes.
Would rainbows be shooting
Yeah,
out
that's how
of
I
your
see them.
eyes?
Like just all the time.
Presenting an arc
Like
out of
Cricket
your eyes.
Crunch.
when you look,
Yeah.
when
Rainbow
you look
puke.
at someone there, they just start on fire. All right. Puzzlegeddon comes out. Puzzlegeddon for $9.99
Oh, yeah.
on the PlayStation Network today. There's also a whole bunch of demos. We have Army of Two, the 40th Day. We have Guitar Hero Van Halen, TV Show King. Also a demo for Puzzlegeddon, demo for Diner Dash, and a Gran Turismo time trial. Gran Turismo
Correct.
5 time trial. That comes out today.
Sam and I
Very
will talk
nice.
about that in a second here.
Yep.
As you mentioned before, Final Fantasy VIII is out today. There are a bunch of PSP games
Wait.
out.
I didn't realize it came out today.
Yeah.
That
it's
is
today.
awesome.
Woo!
Yeah.
Bam! PSP games, both Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, and then Portable Ops Plus.
Ooh.
The Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel, Buzz Quiz World, F1 2009, Sega Rally. Is it Revo or Revolution? I forget.
Revo.
It's just Revo,
Yeah.
right? All right. And Ridge Racer. And then we have two minis today.
Ooh.
They
Really?
keep
Where are
they're
they?
rocking the minis. We have Heracles Chariot Racing.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
I like it.
And
Ben-Hur.
also Spot the Differences with an exclamation
I like
mark
that.
at the bottom.
Wow.
At the
I like
back
the
there.
DLC opportunity.
Yeah. So what's
That is it for the PlayStation Network store. I think that's a pretty decent update.
Yeah.
That's all right.
You know
Yeah.
what sucks? Sega Rally Revo was made by Sega's Racing Studio.
Okay.
Which was closed down after they got, after the release of the game. And they were picked up by, I believe, Disney, and they became the Black Rock Studio. If I had that right. I believe that's right. And those guys went on to make Pure, which was freaking awesome. And now they're working on Split Second,
Yeah.
which is equally awesome. So I'm glad to see that at least some part of the people who made that
Yeah.
didn't get totally shafted, because they've gone
Yeah.
on to make really good games.
Cool.
So
Excellent, man.
Fun fact. I don't know why I threw that out there.
How do you
Speaking of
know
racing
all this
games.
stuff? It's crazy.
Speaking of
Stuck up
racing
here.
games, Sam, you and I, for the past 12 hours or whatever, because the servers weren't working, have been playing the Gran Turismo 5 Time Trial Challenge.
Indeed, we have.
Now, for those of you who don't know, it's basically two cars, really one car. It's the 370Z tuned and stock on one track. Is the Indianapolis road course. And if you win in the U.S. or Canada, there's a prize for each of those. You get a VIP package to the Indianapolis 500 next year.
Correct.
And if you win, if you're in Europe, and I don't know if Japan's counted as part of this or not, but if you're in Europe, you can basically put up the best time between the two. You will become the next GT Academy person. They'll put you,
Inductee,
so they'll put you in an actual 370Z, and you'll race, in an actual racing league, and go out there and risk your life for the glory of being in shorts on GranTurismo.com. But now you and I have been playing this. I don't want to talk about this for too long, because in case people don't want to listen to Gran Turismo. But I mean, you and I. The driving physics have been completely redone in this, and they are phenomenal at this point.
Huge difference. This is like I kind of equated it to the difference from when the series kind of went from that weird center pivot thing that they did, kind of in the beginning, to basically being completely bolted loose from just
right.
pivoting around the center. It is awesome. The actual attachment that the car has to the track, and then you as a driver to that car, is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how much fun it is to drive. I know you guys are.
I just can't tell.
Well, okay, so
It's beyond me.
I would recommend that anybody that hasn't played Gran Turismo in the past, or has tried to kind of play it and maybe thought it was a little stale or whatever, go try this, because it's what I was kind of saying is it sort of has a little bit of a taste of Need for Speed Shift, kind of the experience they had in there, touched in there, but it's a little bit different. In terms of one thing that's disappointing about it, though, or a lot of people are looking at it as such, is that there's no damage in the demo, just a time trial, so that wasn't important. It's an outdoor track, which I don't think shows off Gran Turismo's visuals as best as it could, so it doesn't look as good. I mean, the cars look great, but the track doesn't look all that amazing. So I
it's
think
kind of a boring track.
From a demo standpoint, it doesn't show off really what they, what the general audience is looking for.
Yeah.
But the people that are already fans and want to see what the driving is like,
I think that's
then
it.
it's a good thing for that.
It's not necessarily a demo, I think, which is kind of important. It's a
even
time
though it
trial.
says the demo.
Well, does it? Or does it say time trial?
No, it says this is the demo for the upcoming Gran Turismo 5.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Yeah, but it is quite cool. The way that game, especially that new version of the game, makes you respect every single corner is amazing to me.
Yeah.
You have to watch out for racing lines, especially with the stock car where the stuff is really.
Don't stop talking.
Oh, what?
Don't stop talking.
Don't stop.
Greg's ruined it.
That doesn't matter.
Anyway,
it's
that's fine.
So check it out.
Let's go on to pick of the week. There's not really anything.
Well, I would say the Gran Turismo 5 thing. You're saying even if you're not a giant fan, you should play it.
Go get it.
At least
I mean,
check
I
it
would
out.
like to get good at it. I played it at those events and stuff. It seemed like fun enough.
But can Gran Turismo 5 beat Heracles Chariot Racing?
That's going to be a tough challenge. We'll see
They
what
are
happens
both
there.
racing games.
Yes,
Yes.
they are. One has chariots.
Racing
and,
game of the day.
One has 300-400 horsepower. One has 4.
4, 2.
2 horsepower.
Yeah,
I
2
don't
to
know.
Probably one. I'm
horsepower.
going to say one.
Maybe. I don't know. It might be 4. Might be 4
I
horsepower.
think chariots can
Might
have
be 4.
multiple horses.
Yeah.
No, they can, but I'm saying in the game, I'm betting one.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Could be. All right. Well, 1 to 4 horsepower from that game, and the stock 370Z is what, 332, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think Gran Turismo wins there.
Okay.
Tis a beast.
Pick of the week!
There it is. Pick of the week is Gran
Turismo
Turismo.
5 demo.
And or if you want new trophies, go get your only option this
Little
week
Big
is
Planet stuff.
or good option this week anyways. Little Big Planet
Plus,
Water.
Quiz World could be good.
Yeah,
PSP game.
but it doesn't have trophies.
True. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying for trophies. But
It has its own in-game rewards, though.
Yeah.
well, there you are.
Yeah. So
Now-
no meta
Looks like they
aspect
showed
there.
So there's not really much to talk about in trophy tips, I guess, unless anybody has anything crazy to add.
Assassin's Creed 2 is an easy platinum, but it's a fun game and it's a good platinum.
It's a really
I need to play that game.
Yep, you do.
Does it run well on the PS3 compared to the
Yeah, fine.
360?
I have no problem with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No problem, as in you tolerate, or as in there's no problem at all?
I mean, I have problems with the game, sure, but I'm saying that we'll get to that. Don't worry.
All right.
I'm going to lead you down the Assassin's Creed 2 pathway in a while.
Oh, okay.
Teaser.
All right.
All right.
Now let's get on a topic of the week. Now, earlier this year, as we try to do every year, is we did this in February or something?
Episode 74.
Okay, we're on 120, so it's
There you go.
almost. So it was, I don't know. Yeah, beginning of this year anyway.
Yeah.
We do predictions for what we think is going to
We
happen
picked
for the year.
3 predictions.
Everybody
What's going
picks
to
3
happen?
predictions. Sam was part of these predictions, right?
Oh, yeah. We
Okay.
have
I forgot if you were
we
on
have
the
a
show or
laundry
not.
list of people in this one.
Now, I will just say right off the bat that I failed miserably on this one. But I will say that
don't even
if
remember what I
you
predicted.
listen to the show, I did say I didn't want to pick cheap things. I didn't want to say, I didn't want to say, hey, this game's gonna come out next month.
Yeah,
I went for the long shot. PS4 was gonna be talked about. I went for Gran Turismo 3.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah,
Don't spoil it.
but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So I failed. I'll say that, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So episode 74, we made all these predictions. We each made 3 predictions. This includes the now deceased Jeff Haynes, and we called it out at the time. Somebody should write all this down. Our dedicated fan, Andrew Cullen, possibly related to the vampire from Twilight, also known as Inane Asylum.
Inane Asylum.
Yes. He wrote them all down, kept track of them in a little lockbox, and then trucked them out here. We now have, we're going to start who did the worst to who did the best, see who won this whole thing. Woo! Mm-hmm. The worst was Ryan Clements.
Oh, really? I wasn't the worst?
No, yes, that's true. True. You were not the worst. Ryan Clements has 0 points. All of his were wrong. He said Final Fantasy 13 would be released in the U.S. between mid-November and mid-December. He said the City of Final Fantasy would see a U.S. release in March, while it was actually released August 25th. And he said that Little Big Planet would be shown for the PSP in the second half of 2009. It actually popped up at E3. I'm sorry, Ryan. We have some lovely parting gifts for you on the way out.
All right, thank you.
In a 3-way tie for
It was
second.
fun. 3-way tie for second.
We'll start with Dead Jeff Haynes. Jeff Haynes said Final Fantasy 13 would not be released in 2009. A quote here from Inane Asylum is, I'm not sure whether he meant U.S. or at all in 2009, but since he made this prediction as kind of a follow-up to Ryan's first one, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him credit for this one, end quote. Plus, he's deceased, so we have to do that.
Exactly.
Jeff also predicted the PS3 price drop would happen before the end of March. The PS3, of course, slim thing, price cut, all that didn't happen until August 25th. And Jeff's third prediction was that games would be, in 2009, would begin emerging, requiring PSP and PS3 interconnection. And then Inane says, though several games feature this, it's not
really
required.
said that?
Yeah?
That
sounds like
seems
something
crazy.
Jeff Haynes.
Man, yeah,
something
I
Jeff was like.
That was one I would have predicted would become false.
Yeah, obviously, right? Sam.
Oh.
You also rocked 1 point out of this one.
Yay.
Said Final Fantasy would be released in Japan in 2009 and in the U.S. 2010. Ding. You got a point. There you go.
Ding, 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 ding.
You fell into the price cut trap, though. You said April on that one. That did not happen. You also said that PSP 2, you said it would be announced at E3 2009, targeted release for 2010. That did not happen.
No, it did not. In fact, instead we got the Go.
Yeah. Who's the amazing system, rocking everybody's socks. Andrew Cullen calls Chris Roper our fearless leader. Chris, you got 1 point as well. Cool. Gran Turismo 5 would be shown in some form of true 3D. This reveal happened early in the year, so 1 point for Roper. Ding.
Ding, ding,
Wait,
ding,
but
ding.
it wasn't shown in 3D though.
This is what Cullen says.
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah, you got 0 points then.
Yeah,
There you
see,
go.
that's what I'm-
You're tied
now,
with Ryan.
I think
Whoa, yeah.
See, I think I should get like
Tied with Roper.
No, I think I should get like 0.1 because there is 3D coming to the PS3 later.
Wait a minute. Well,
So
they did show it off at GDC.
But it wasn't.
Had real 3D glasses.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
but it was prologue.
And it had.
I would count that.
Yeah, see, that's why I think I should get like a tiny little
We'll
side
give you
point.
point. You got 0.5. You're ahead of Ryan. You know, I'll amend.
Because my thing, what I remember
game
saying
sucks.
was that they weren't showing GT5 at all to that point. You hadn't seen the proper thing because it was going to be in 3D, which wasn't the case.
Your third and final prediction. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Price cut. You said you predicted it would happen in March, probably at GDC. It didn't. And your third and final prediction was that Sony would begin talking about the PS4 by the end of the year. They have not said one thing about it.
Yeah.
Currently, I also have 1 point, but I have one. My second point that would put me over the edge and make me win this whole thing is hinging on IGN's Game of the Year. I said Fat Princess would be released between mid-March and mid-April. In reality, it was July 30th, not where it was supposed to be.
Well, it got delayed, so
Yeah,
I mean,
but I mean, they never had a firm date. That's when
Yeah,
we're
that
still
is
skating
true.
around.
That's a
I said
good
Patapon 2 would be released in May. That happened. And then I said, for the first time ever, IGN's Game of the Year is going to be a PS3 title. This is where we get into a little bit of discussion here. Topic of the week. I, of course, said this. I said this with 2 games on my mind. Infamous and Uncharted 2, because I knew Infamous was going to be amazing. I wasn't sure where it would stack up. In the end, obviously, a great, fantastic game. You should all play if you have a PS3. Not Game of the Year caliber, probably, most likely. We had a great year for games.
Yep.
My deal is, I am terrified, PS3 Nation, that Uncharted 2 will. We need to point out too, we have not voted on Game of the Year. I do not know what the Game of the Year for
we're not,
PS3.
Yeah, so
we don't even know. Oh. We haven't announced nominees either yet.
No, and our nominee list is long.
Still, you're right.
It's
not,
longer than it will be, so that
we
as
have
a little
not hacked
inside
it
thing,
down
so
at
when
all.
people go on break, they can play them all, and then we figure out the actual nominees, and then we vote.
I talked about this, I think, on GameScoop, whatever, too, but just in general. Because, again, so what I'm basically saying is here, nothing's set in stone. If anything falls apart, don't yell at me. But I think clearly Uncharted 2 is the front runner. Everybody has something to say about that game. I am terrified that Assassin's Creed 2 is going to win.
What?
I was at a bar with 3 people across from me. Now, granted, 2 of these people don't vote in our awards, but still, Damon, Caleb, and Ty Root. And we started talking, and Caleb, who's one of the biggest PS3 fanboys in the office, Damon and Ty all said that Damon and Caleb said for sure they'd vote Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow.
While Ty said he could see it going to either, and blah, blah, blah. Right there, that put a shriek of terror in me that's what's going to happen. Because I bet my whole thing was, well, what about co-op? And Damon's like, oh, I haven't even played that yet. It's like, I think people are going to barely tap Uncharted because they don't care about their PS3s. Most people in the office are 360 people, and then they're going to fall back on Assassin's Creed 2 and overlook everything Uncharted did. And after playing, I hadn't played Assassin's Creed 2 at this point in the bar, and it was a Friday night. So then I went home that weekend and played it all weekend. And I'm like 3/4 probably now through it. I was livid playing it. I'm like, I can't believe people think that this is the greatest game of the year.
Yeah.
Like, if this thing wins, I'm going to blow my mind. Like, I'm going to blow my mind with the excitement shotgun of anger. Because, like, I just can't see it. Like, it's good.
Me either.
I
It's a
agree.
very, very, very good game.
We gave it a 9.3. I can totally see the score. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I don't hate the game. I have fun playing it.
Yes.
But it is not the experience that Uncharted 2 is. I mean, or even Batman for that matter.
Well,
or
those are
even
the two.
Infamous for that matter, if you ask me.
Batman and Uncharted right now are the 2 really big contenders. I have to finish Batman. Because I know you were saying.
I mean, I just can't. It blows my mind that, like, this is because I mean, like, and it's good, but it's so loose. It looks terrible at points. Cutscenes in that game, the models look awful.
Here's the thing. I guess they
Not
must
awful,
have sacrificed.
but you know what I mean.
No, but they don't look as
They
detailed
don't look
as
like
a lot
a
of the
great
stuff that's out there
PS3
right
game.
now. Yeah.
If you just saw that out of context, you'd be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. But the facial animation and lip syncing in that game is unbelievably good.
Okay, I'll give
like
that. I'll give you that.
like their
Yeah, yeah.
expressions, they're not just gesticulating, like they aren't doing a can animation. They actually use their hands. I don't know if they motion captured it or if they keyframed everything, but either way, it's really freaking good. Their faces are seriously some of the best I've ever seen in a video game.
Yeah.
Even though they don't look that good, they are animated incredibly well. They're very, very expressive.
I mean, I find the jumping and the climbing to be a chore, which
Dude,
has
once
always been my thing about those kind of games. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I put in my Infamous review is that how awesome this was. You could climb and it was fast, and you'd have to worry about micromanaging everything.
Yep.
You are micromanaging the hell out of Ezio in this game. I mean, you've got to jump and then grab. You'll be falling next to a wall, and you'll fall to your death because you didn't hit circle to grab something. It's like, what did you think I wanted you to do, you idiot?
Well, and there's a lot of, like, because of the way the controls are set up, this is the problem with the first game, too, where you sort of just run wherever you point. So you hold R1 and X, right, to do all your stuff, for anybody who hasn't played. And there are sequences in the game where the camera is sort of tweaked at a weird angle. So if you push straight forward, you'll jump off. And there are challenges later on in the game where you have to do certain, like, tombs. And they are set timed challenges where you have to get through certain areas, and if you screw up, you end up falling, and you have to go all the way back through the stuff again.
Screaming, Portillo's sitting on the couch, like, God damn! You think you'll be jumping up a wall trying to get somewhere, and then he does the whole the old Lara Croft stuff, where she, jump off the wall to your death.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of jumping away.
Why would you do this? How am I supposed to know? That was my other thing too. Like, I was having this conversation with Damon and somebody from GameSpy, and they're like, "Oh, you think the Uncharted?" Because I mentioned Uncharted. You think Uncharted? That I'm like, Uncharted 2 is a million times better wall climbing this. Are you kidding me? Like, every time Nathan's about to do something, you see him do it.
Yeah.
He starts to reach. You know where he's going. Ezio just. Or am I saying it wrong?
Yeah, Ezio.
Okay, thanks. He turns his head around. I don't know what he's.
Dwayne, man.
I don't know what he's looking at. Great game. You should play it. It's this giant open world. There's a million things to do, but it's so loose on what I mean.
Yeah.
By the way, we should play Uncharted 2 multiplayer this weekend if you have time.
I won't be around this weekend, but we should play it next week. I'm going to play a lot of it.
Shut down.
We have a whole bunch of
I
people
will
to
play
get
with you, sir.
indoctrinate.
Maybe on Sunday.
Cool.
When I'm nursing a massive hangover.
If you play Sunday night, I'll play with you.
So your second point is hinging on our awards, which will be going up early next year.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think in the beginning of January we do those, right? The teens, I think, is when we're going to announce
sometime.
Game of the Year.
I don't know what the date is. Now we did give out our platform awards, and Uncharted won that one.
And 360 was Assassin's Creed 2.
Right.
So it's like head to head.
I don't see how anybody could consider Assassin's Creed better than Batman.
I am terrified. I know, right? I know. I'm terrified that what's going to happen.
Then again, I guess I hadn't finished Batman. I have finished.
Yeah, I'm still only like
Assassin's
3 or 4 hours into Batman.
That's kind of about where I was, I think. And it'd been a long time. I had borrowed your copy, Mr. Greg Miller. I'm going to go and buy a copy, actually, as soon as we're all done with this.
I'm on a platinum run this Christmas. I needed it back.
Yeah. And I'd probably gotten maybe about 5 hours into it, 4 or 5 hours, and hadn't played it for like 2.5 months and completely forgot what I was doing. I walked out into this area, got killed like 6 times, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm starting over. I don't even remember the controls.
That's the thing is I was doing the mission really early on where you have to follow the trail of like whiskey or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in the middle of that and I had to stop for whatever reason, and then I came back and I'm like, where the hell am I going? And I wound up following the path all the way back to the start of it, and I'm like, dude, And then so when I quit this last time, I made sure I was like nothing was happening, and I'm like, okay, now I can, I come back and I have to relearn the controls, but anyway,
it does happen really quickly. It comes back very fast.
So that was it. Our final send off here from Inane Asylum. He writes, blah blah blah. This brings total points to everybody's 1 with obviously now you're 0.5. Greg having 2 depending on IGN's Game of the Year. Start greasing palms now, Greg, and you may have a chance at winning this. It's been a great year for the PlayStation, and here's to another year of Beyond.
Thank you, Inane Asylum.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
That was
seriously
really
put
all
awesome.
that together.
there you go.
Topic of the week.
Yep.
Done.
Let's get on to some reader mail.
Read the mail. Let's answer some mail.
First piece of mail comes from Ben, and he was saying that he has a question about Borderlands. He's thinking about buying it because he likes the loot collection and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that his college, he doesn't live in the U.S., and his college doesn't allow access to the PlayStation Network.
Where does he live? Communist Russia.
They might.
So he can't do online gaming. So in our opinion, is it worth it to get it even if you can't play online co-op with friends?
Okay, first of all, yes. Second of all, you can kind of skirt that if he does some tunneling with this computer, which you can Google that. There's a way to use your PC as your connection to the internet rather than just connecting directly.
Right.
So
and then
Google that, and you should exactly,
Yeah.
and it'll go around the ports that I think are traditionally blocked.
Yeah.
By the PSN.
It may be a pain for you to get it set up, but once you do, you'll be living the online dream.
Yes, exactly. You will actually fully be able to use your PS3. That said, I played through the entire game offline actually until I platinumed the game, and to do that, I had to play online with other people because there's a couple. Very easy.
Really?
Yeah, I did that in less than a week. So I would say maybe like 4 or 5 really, really meaty days. I played it for a long time because once you beat the game, you're probably at about, I think I was level 38. And to get through, you have to get to level 50. And to do that, you have to do a new game plus. And the easiest way to do that is to find somebody online who is near the end of their second run through the game, because a lot of people are doing that at the time. And you can be at level 38 or whatever, and it's basically like you're starting at the very beginning. So you hang back, let them kill everything, and then you get all their you get just a ton of XP.
I see.
And I gotten up to, I think, 45 or 46 before I had ended just one run with somebody. And it was kind of MMO-ish, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of it, I just kind of power leveled through a bunch of missions, and it just...
Really?
So yeah, it's not too tough. But there's a couple things that you can do. You can sort of... cheat your way, not cheat. You can half-ass your way through some of the multiplayer trophies where you just play split screen, and you just grab the controller and just leave it there. And so you can do the challenge, and you can do an arena thing, and those are all you can get that within 15 minutes.
Oh wow, okay.
So the toughest
right after Assassin's Creed. That's my next game.
Yeah, so it is possible, and it's a really good game. I mean, the online stuff was a little funky on the PS3 anyway. I always had some really weird audio glitches for a while until everything kind of synced up. But yeah, that game is awesome.
Yep.
So.
Rolls Royce 5 writes in, and he says that, as everybody knows, the first 3 months of next year are crazy. There's MAG in January, Heavy Rain in February, there's God of War 3, and Final Fantasy 13 in March.
Yakuza 3.
Yep.
Yakuza 3 is there. Gran Turismo 5 is slated for March in Japan. There's no U.S. release date, but kind of hitting more and more towards June 1st.
Yeah, it looks
So,
probably not the first quarter.
Anyway, even ignoring Gran Turismo, and that's only Sony stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so his question is about Sony, but I mean, even looking at third-party stuff, there's BioShock 2.
BioShock 2, Bayonetta, Just Cause 2. It's
the list is
freaking
crazy.
ridiculous.
Everybody already knows that this is totally insane. But his question is, what happens after March for Sony? They haven't shown anything else that all we know. There's very big games that they've got coming out in the first 3 months. Maybe 6 if you figure out what Gran Turismo, but there's nothing else that's really announced after that. So we want to know what the hell's going on. So it's expected that at some point they'll announce Twisted Metal, which I'm assuming assuming that it's not some giant made-up thing and that it actually is production, will have to get announced at E3 and then come out in October or whatever, September to November time. You have to assume that's going to happen. Resistance 3 is kind of already out there, but it might not be until next 2011.
I would kind of hope for 2011 personally, but I mean that's.
And then. I don't know what else.
Well, we were kind of talking about this a little while ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. Sony had like a little sort of a get-together, but mostly for East Coast long-term publications. So like magazines, some newspapers, stuff like that were more mainstream press. So it wasn't really like a Gamers Day event.
Right.
We were thinking that there will probably be something very early in the year next year. So I don't know, sometime during January maybe or February, where they sort of start detailing some of their summer stuff. And then with E3 hitting around the summertime, that'll kind of get us going into the end of 2010.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be a very short wait before we start hearing about stuff, but I think there is a lot.
What seems really cool to me, though, is unless nothing really happens between March and June, and then all of a sudden Sony shows stuff.
Sony.
Yeah.
You like
and then
Sony?
it says this will be out on shelves in 2 months. That means, to me, and it seems very likely, that they will have a very big GDC showing.
Yes, and they're doing the keynote this year, yeah? I think it's their
I don't know
turn
who's doing
because it's been Nintendo and Microsoft the last 2 years. So I would
so
assume.
it could be. Actually, yeah. That makes sense because the last time that there was GDC... Because the home announcement came to the
Home, Little Big
GDC
Planet
keynote
with it.
to almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm worried about 2010.
You are?
Winter, yeah. We knew at least a little bit about. You figure right now, last year, we knew Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
They did that at VGAs. And
you have to assume that next year is The Last Guardian.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's also I'm trying to think of what else.
Next year's Game of the Year? You're worried about that right now?
No. I mean, next year, winter
Next year,
releases. What are they going to have for the
and-
holiday of next year? I feel like I know nothing.
I think
Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Last Guardian.
I'll tell you what I'm really. Oh, go ahead. I'm jumping. No, I want you to tell me about the winner. Tell me about the winner next year, 2010. What's the winner?
There's a bunch of stuff that's still sort of like in limbo right now. Agent, LA Noir.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of stuff that is very likely a holiday release that's just sort of been sitting out
Agent
there.
will not be next year.
You don't think so?
No way.
No.
They didn't even have anything to show last year. They had a logo.
That's Rockstar's way, man. They wait until they have something like big to show off. Because when they finally revealed GTA 4?
But that's GTA.
That's true.
And we actually saw GTA 4 6 months.
But this is
or so.
Agent.
Or no, we saw GTA 4 about a year before it came out. Actually. Yeah.
Anyways, outside of games, my
Red
biggest
Dead Redemption,
excitement
there's
thing.
that too.
Yeah,
So-
well, that's in the beginning of the year again, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's March, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyways,
F March.
I'm excited for Infamous 2 trailer at E3 2010. That's my prediction.
That actually, I think, is probably a very good chance.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
God.
Moving on, Ruben the Sandwich writes in and he says
I need him.
he loves his PS3, but he has a problem where he only plays offline because there's no. Here's what he says: there is no internet where I play my PS3.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that since he can get online, that there's internet in his house, but the PS3 is in the basement or something. There's no connection there. Thus, he was wondering whether there was any chance that Q Games would release a disc or something with all of their games on it, or in some fashion be able to get it otherwise. Highly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's possible that this seems still unlikely, but there's supposed to be 6 games in the Pixel Junk series that they're releasing, and so maybe after all 6 are out, they would do it. But I would guess probably not. Assuming that your PS3 is in a house with the internet connection. Dude, even if you need to, there's so many games that you need to get on the PlayStation Network now. Get a bunch of money saved up and then move your PS3 upstairs or something to wherever your computer is and download them all at once. Take it to your friend's house and just download it.
Yeah, just why can't you just walk the PS3 upstairs, plug it in, off the computer?
or buy a wireless router.
Yeah.
I mean,
if he doesn't have a wireless router, then
yeah, I can understand he doesn't have a wireless router. Maybe he's 14 or something, and his parents don't want to buy it or something. But
or maybe the way the house is set up, it wouldn't.
Take your PS3 somewhere where there is an internet connection. Spend a couple hours downloading all your content, and then spend months playing it all.
Yeah.
Get wipe out and get all all the stuff for it. So, yeah, Flower. There's lots of good stuff to get.
Man, there's tons of stuff.
Flyboy 2057 writes in. And he has a question. I think this is kind of a cool one where you see a lot of game commercials these days for third-party games. And at the end, all the EA Sports games do this. A lot of Activision stuff does this. And at the end of it, they show a logo for one console.
Yes.
Right? So his instance is that the Modern Warfare 2 commercial shows the Xbox logo at the end of it, despite it being a cross-platform game. And so he's wondering why this happens and what our thoughts on it are. why it happens is because of money.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's basically a co-sponsored ad campaign with the platform holder and the publisher. So Microsoft, obviously, Modern Warfare is a really, really big. I mean, it's kind of synonymous with the 360, almost as much as Halo. So they really wanted to try and capture that audience, and it's worked. So they went in with Activision and said, okay, we will help you out with the ad campaign as long as you show our logo exclusively.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a money thing.
Yeah, I think that it. I don't know. It is kind of confusing to people, but that's the point.
And borderline
is that,
deceptive. But
is that when you watch these commercials, anybody that's listening to the show is going to know that X game, all these things are on, all the consoles or whatever.
Right.
But if you're, Johnny's mother at home, and and you happen to see this ad during the Daily Show, and you're like, ooh, he likes sports games.
Yep.
I hear that he likes Madden, but it's only available on the Xbox. He doesn't have a system yet. What am I going to get him for Christmas this year? I guess I'll get him an Xbox because that's what has Madden. Whatever it is.
Though I will give him credit. This year is Madden stuff is all PlayStation branded.
Yeah.
So they've been doing it with the PSP and everything else, which is in fact, this year Sony's really stepped it up as far as the whole semi-exclusive kind of thing. When Assassin's Creed 2 was first announced, they had sort of a bell ringing thing, and that was just the PlayStation logo. Now it's multi-platform, but
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sony has been doing a better job about it, but Microsoft was killing it early on.
Yeah.
Which
and they've been picking really good. Microsoft's been really keen about what games they choose to. Rock Band 2 is another one that they jumped on right away. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. He took some time off from holding us down, and the man wrote in to ask about Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. He wants to get it, but he's wondering if he has to play Portable Ops first. Now, first off, before we get into that question, Portable Ops and Portable Ops Plus is hitting the PlayStation Network in the store today, so you can get that if you want.
Right.
But so far as I understand, no. You don't.
Not at all.
I mean, the Peace Walker is a continuation of the Solid console franchise.
It is a canonical entry. Or
correct.
Whatever. So yeah.
So you would be best off having played, I guess, Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yes.
If you've
it's
played
very similar to 3.
If you've played 3, then this is the direct sequel to 3.
Yeah.
Oh, is Portable Ops not a sequel to 3?
No, Portable Ops is sort of its own. I guess it takes place in the same timeline, but it's kind of a weird, boxed out sort of thing.
Oh, really? I thought it was on the same thing.
I think the story is very tertiarily related, but not. It's not.
That's where you meet Campbell.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. You do a couple of things that are related to the story, but it's not like a prequel like Peace Walker is going to be.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you've played Metal Gear Solid 3. And then if you have, you won't have any problems. I would assume though that it would. Oh, Jesus, giving the Metal Gear Solid storyline, you have no idea. But, hopefully it'll kind of, tell you what's happening if you haven't. But
I like that it's going back to 3. 3 was definitely my favorite as far as storyline stuff. It was didn't go bat poopy insane.
Yeah, well, because they got to start
very
over.
Grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Jake writes in. He says he wants to know if the...
the other reason why I would say Portable Ops Plus or Portable Ops is not that important is that it's not the same kind of gameplay.
Sure.
You're capturing guys. It's very small environment. So it's not a classic Metal Gear Solid game.
Right.
So anyway.
Whereas this would be more like that.
Yeah. Whereas Peace Walker definitely is.
Yeah. So Jake writes in. Now that I figured out what his question is, he was wondering what would happen if. His end is if Sony kept making consoles, but I guess this would happen for anybody.
Wikipedia says you're wrong, Sam. So eat that.
What's that?
What
Get
does
out of my
Wikipedia say?
site.
What?
It also.
By the way, Wikipedia never has incorrect information.
It is also the first canonical outing for the Metal Gear Solid franchise on the portable platform, following the storyline of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Set in 1970 in South America, 6 years after the events of Snake Eater.
Interesting. Yeah. I only mentioned it because Kojima made a big deal about it at E3 last year that Peace Walker is totally canon.
Peace Walker must come before chronologically
Peace Walker
before
is
Portable Ops.
Well, it is first game, right? It would be the first game in the timeline because Metal Gear was after Big Boss had started up whatever.
You're talking about Metal Gear
NES?
Yeah. That would be after this.
Yeah. Anyway,
sorry.
We can stop talking about this because there are some people that will have played the games 50 times and will come in and tell us that.
Yeah, exactly. I've got everything wrong.
This guy's DNA from his hair was implanted into this dude's big toe, and so, but it was only hinted at in the credits. But it changed
in the international
entire timeline.
version, if you pause it for 2 seconds and then you punch in this codec frequency.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, Jake writes in. He's wondering what would happen if basically all the console makers, let's just say Microsoft and Sony, one of the two of them quit making systems, and then both of them made software for a console. So he's saying, what if Microsoft stopped making the Xbox and made software for the PS3?
Yeah.
Now, two problems I have with this. Everybody, might think that it's good, but number one, competition is good because it makes everybody work harder.
Yes.
Obviously, so you'd miss that. And number two, the reason that Microsoft would probably never do it unless, Sega did it because Sega was having massive problems with their, selling hardware and stuff like that. So it was a smarter move on their end because, they're still in business now. But Microsoft and Sony make money from the licensing of the third-party apps for their systems, right? So if Activision makes, Guitar Hero and releases on the 360, every time one of those copies is sold, Microsoft gets a cut of that because they have, to license it to run on the Xbox. If Microsoft is no longer making the system and is now making stuff for Sony, they no longer have any sort of licensing agreement at all. Now, if the two collaborated, that would be different, but, and then that's kind of a different story.
Yeah.
But
there's also the issue that Microsoft really doesn't have a huge first-party presence. They have Rare.
Right.
Rare's made just a couple games this generation, and then everything else they've done has been second or third party.
Right.
They've
now
been
Bungie
really
is
heavy.
not really.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was their sort of bread and butter. I can't think of anything else that they are trying to build up their stuff. They have Turn 10. But they're not the sort of first-party powerhouse that Sony is.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
Sony went out
you
of
think
business.
about there are a lot of exclusive Xbox games which are published in IPs that have gone there, but they don't own. They might own the IPs too.
They own the IPs, but they don't.
Right. So I mean, and even Epic owns the Gears of War IP, but Microsoft is publishing them, so they're getting all the publishing on the Xbox, and you consider that an Xbox exclusive, which it is, but Microsoft doesn't technically own it.
Right.
Same thing with Mass Effect.
Exactly.
And so all Ninja Gaiden, if you don't include the re-releases kind of later on the PS3, all these things are made by third-party companies that Microsoft is publishing for, so they're paying for it to be produced and release it on there and say you can't also release this on the PS3, but they don't own those studios.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if Microsoft only, even if they became a software publisher, it would not be the same thing.
They wouldn't have that kind of leverage either. They wouldn't be able to reach out to other third parties, for instance, if they went third party.
Right.
And say, hey, I don't know, Bazaar, can you make another, what's it called?
Project Gotham.
PGR, yeah. Thank you. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's that one. And then the last question that I have right here comes from GTA for Life.
Which is your screen name.
Yeah. It is me. So he wrote in and he says that he loved Skate, and, Skate 2 was great, but he's wondering now, with Skate 3, what the hell is going to happen with this game? Why will it be exciting?
They're going to use a Tony Hawk ride board.
Oh, yeah.
No,
the entire thing about Skate 3 is, if you haven't read my preview, is that it's to me, seems almost identical to Skate 2 in terms of what you do. There's a couple extra moves, whatever. But the catch is that the entire game, career mode and everything, is online. So you're playing in a team of 3 people, and I can play online, and then what's cool is you can set up your own skate team. And so if Greg and Ryan are on my skate team, and then they hop online, if I have it set up as such, they'll join in and take over for the computer or whatever. And now the 3 of us are skating. All 3 of us are advancing our own careers, independently and all that kind of stuff. So
that's cool.
It's meant to be a completely co-op game, regardless of if you're playing with the computer or with players. But they want you to play with players, and they're setting up those teams and stuff to make it more easy. So that from a gameplay perspective, it's going to be basically the same as 2, but that part will completely change the way what you're doing basically. So it remains to be seen about whether it'll be better or not. But the idea, I think, is really cool. And from what I've played, it's really fun. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only game in town now for skateboarding stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Tony Hawk Ride? Are you crazy?
Huh?
The
You're
board
crazy
is
if it's
filled
a
with
Tony Hawk Ride.
technology.
It's a game for dogs.
Filled with technology.
Yeah.
Game for dogs.
That's all the main segments of the show. Ryan, do you have a PSN hit of the week?
I do. I have another Facebook hit. Here we go. This first Facebook message that Adam sent me really made me feel for him. Adam says, so in a recent episode of Podcast Beyond, the hit of the week really got me excited. As soon as you said, we've got a Facebook request from Adam, he almost flipped out, But then you said who is currently in France, or I think I said Paris. And I calmed down and got a little sad because, obviously our last Facebook hit was also
So hit of the
from
week is
Adam.
going to be Bill from Ohio. That's basically what you're saying.
That would be awesome.
Oh, man. Anyway, and he was also asking me a PSP question. But anyway, Adam, I felt really bad for you because we got you all excited for nothing. Now, Adam, you are the hit of the week. The PSN ID that you need to take a look at is Guitar3542. He admits it's not really clever, but
Well,
that's
you find
fine.
that man and you shoot him in the face.
Guitar3542.
On the onlines.
Greg.
Oh.
Everybody, I'm at a surprise party, so I can't talk too loud. I'm hiding behind a love scene. Pissing and get fucked.
I like it. Now,
That was good.
Ryan,
That was very creative.
Thank you.
The problem with your thing there is you didn't give any details about Adam, except for the fact that he sent you this message. There could have been another Adam that has sent you the same message.
Oh, now, yeah.
And you got to the PSN ID read off.
That's true.
But now that Adam was, bass drum
What terrible,
357.
terrible chain of events
Whatever.
have you wrought?
Well, I think they can deal with it.
We have an interesting thing too. This year, you started a campaign to overthrow Hillary and friends.
Yeah, I've the Beyond readers have been really gracious in adding me, but I actually have not looked at Hill's friend.
Do you know how many you
recently.
have?
I have about 2,300 maybe.
Don't
It's
you
great.
have 3,000?
Exactly. I didn't.
My roommate actually noticed this, which is crazy.
Over the
Yeah.
past week and a half, I've accepted. I had 1,200 outstanding friend requests, and I've accepted them all. And I am now.
Man.
How long did that take you?
I don't know. I lost.
Must have been
took a
hours,
while.
right?
No, not hours, because you can do it all. I sat there and I click them all. What I do is I fill my screen with them, and then I click them all into the friends list. Then I go back up and add them, and then I scroll down and do it all over again. I don't know. It took a while. However, it put me if I'm right in striking distance of Hillary now. I'm 200 away.
Hillary has 3,447 as of. 3,496. It just went up.
Oh, man.
Bam, you won by 49.
96.
What is
All right,
happening?
What do I have?
I don't know. Hold on, let me go
check
find
while
out.
we talk. Anyways, I'm in striking distance now of Hill, so I'm
Maybe
gonna
maybe
pick
you
up
can-
your torch
yeah,
here.
I'll
So feel
pass
free
my
to
torch
add
to
me.
you.
A lot of people I also
Can add
get.
me still?
Yeah, no. A lot of people yell at me when they do add me because they say it's hard to find you because there's a lot of Greg Millers.
You have
can find-
3,310.
Oh, wow. So
We
you really
have
wow.
we have
Ooh, I'm
1,100.
right there.
We have
I'm right there.
1,147 friends in common.
Oh, nice.
That's
Holy
I
crap.
think it's really funny when it's not a friends count. It's friends in common.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm right there. You can find me at facebook.com/GameOverGreggy. I'm super easy to get
Also-
to. Here's how you find Clement.
Facebook.com/7winters. 7 spelled out, and then winters as in the season. That takes you directly to my page. You can friend me. I am much better at responding to messages than Greg, I think.
If you message me as an actual a Facebook email, I respond all the time. If you
okay.
put your message in the friend request, I don't because I'm just doing that in a giant
Right. Okay.
thing.
Fair enough.
So thanks for you never message me on Facebook. So thanks for thinking you know how I message
I
people
think I do
back.
sometimes.
Damn,
So,
son.
Burn.
Thank you everybody.
Schooled.
Thank you.
And somewhere in between,
Who is
Ryan
schooled?
Clements
You
and
were.
Greg Miller.
I don't
Right
think
there.
so.
All right, let's wrap up this show. Housekeeping stuff. Everybody's on Facebook. We just mentioned that. Follow us on Twitter at IGN.com. You can follow me at Chris_Roper. Greg is Game Over Greggy.
I'm actually just clearing my throat. I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, Ryan, you even have a Facebook account. A Twitter account yet?
Nope.
No. You suck.
Oh,
I thought
wait,
you
hold
had
on.
to. Wasn't that like a
What do you got?
mandate?
Yep.
Is this an update from?
Yep.
This is very old, but I really wanted to get it done so that we could give the proper
from Beast?
recognition. It's not from Beast. It is from Cold Comfort, who is also a big tournament guy. They had an Uncharted 2 tournament for the PS3 Lobby Community Challenges way back, and after 3 death matches, David W01 won in a big way and took the trophy home, but not a real trophy, not a PlayStation trophy. But yeah, as you guys know, B786 is in. So this is just what our holiday party tonight is going to be like. So that was the tournament winners. B786 is enjoying fatherhood right now, so that's why.
He's a new dad. ahead.
Anyway, thank you, Cold Comfort. I'm sorry I didn't get to this tournament stuff sooner. You can join in. The IGN community always has tournaments on the PlayStation Network that you can.
It's like dry ice, but it's
That you can go to the PlayStation boards.
Doing a Siberian winter.
And you can go to the PlayStation boards, find either Cold Comfort, maybe B786 once he's back, and that reminded me of the E3. What were you trying to do an impression of? The Last Guardian
That was the Last Guardian thing, yeah.
There's the end of the show.
It's been a good one.
Yeah. If you want to send us emails, send it to beyond@ign.com.
Beyond.
Force and read them out, but we won't read them until
Next year?
7th or something like that.
Yikes.
Yeah. We will see you guys in 2010. Ryan, do you have a song intro yet?
You know, what song we're gonna do is I think you guys should continue that effing badass song that we were just going.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Are you going to join in too?
Yeah, I'll join in.
Everybody join in? All right. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
2009.
2009.
See you later, Apple Cakes.
See you later, Apple Cakes.
These aren't just normal marshmallows, man. These things have teeth. 2009. See you later, Apple Cakes.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.